Hey guys, what's up? Little Pepper Lady here. It is Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. Um, don't mind my hair today. It is pouring rain and humid, so this is what you get. It just goes. Um, and I had some errands to run earlier, so I was out in the rain and my hair's not a fan. Um, so I had quite a few people email me, or in the comments ask me, why I do my food storage in Mylar bags, why I don't use a vacuum sealer. So I kind of wanted to get into that topic today. The good, the bad, the why, use Mylar bags, why use a vacuum sealer, are there downsides, are there upsides, all that kind of stuff. So the main purpose when you're storing food is for long-term purposes, and using either one of those methods is essentially to halt the growth of bacteria. So bacteria, in order to grow and flourish, need light, oxygen, warmth, and moisture. So essentially, by putting all of your food items, things like rice, things like beans, pastas, fruits, vegetables, anything that like you've dehydrated or dried, meats, that kind of stuff, if it's not canned or in a can, or you've done like canning for it, is to put them in some type of a bag, to halt the growth of bacteria and to store them for extended periods of time. Now, I, along with a lot of other people, freeze things before I put them in the bags. And the reason being is freezing items before placing in long-term storage halts the growth by removing the warmth part that the bacteria needs. So essentially, you freeze them for a few days and then it kind of halts everything. It kind of puts it at a standstill. And gives you time to be able to remove the other elements that bacteria would need to grow as far as that is concerned. So let's talk about vacuum sealing first. Obviously, vacuum sealing removes air to a certain degree while sealing it, and it's usually in a clear package. So anytime like you buy a package, a vacuum sealer, and it comes with the packaging and stuff, it's clear. A lot of times they have like a thicker bottom part of it and a thinner top part, but it's always clear. The bottom part may be almost like a cloudy clear, but normally it's just, clear all the way through. So some positives for doing vacuum sealing. It's great for meats to put in the freezer. So you vacuum seal your meats up way better than a freezer Ziploc bag that you can get, because you're removing that additional air. And you can put it in the freezer and store it in the freezer sometimes for up to a year with no freezer burn, and then you open it and it's just as fresh as the day that you purchased it. And you can also see the contents that are in the packages doing it, via vacuum sealing. However, the downsides to vacuum sealing, it's very thin, okay? Mylar bags are thicker than the vacuum sealing bags, or the vacuum sealing, sometimes you get like a whole long thing and then you put your meat in there and then you cut it and seal the other end. So it's thin. It's a thin material. It's also clear, like I said, so it allows light to get through it. And it also does degrade quicker the longer that it's stored. And after time, some people have reported 6 months, some people have reported a year. I guess it just depends on the quality and the type that you're vacuum sealing with. But sometimes they are noticing where the seal begins to break on it, and the air will get back into the item, and then it'll start to reinflate the packaging. And there's still, that small amount of oxygen that's left in the bag, even after you do vacuum seal. You can only do so much to get it out. And the same thing with the Mylar bags. There's still going to be air in the packaging. It's just not going to be as much as if, you vacuum sealed it, because you're putting that oxygen absorber in there and you're removing the additional air with that. So let's kind of discuss the Mylar portion of it. And oh, one more thing I wanted to say about the vacuum sealing. It's really essentially only going to be for short-term storage. So I want to get myself a vacuum sealer just so, like I've explained before, I want to have my prep set up so that I have like a 6-month supply, a 1 to 5 year supply, and then a 5 to 25 year supply. So I have it all like organized in that way. And I have things stored differently depending on if something arises in 6 months, if something arises in 1 to 5 years, if something arises, in 5+ years, I'll be prepared for any type of situation that could potentially come my way. And that's why I intend to do it that way and get my prep set up so that I have things stored for those different things. So, for like a 6-month, I wouldn't store anything in any type of long-term storage. And then for like my 1 to 5 year, I'm going to do some vacuum sealing and some canning. I want to get a pressure canner and things like that and do canning for my 1 to 5 year storage. And then, like I've done with my Mylar bags in my food storage buckets, that would be for my 5 years plus, 5 to 25 year storage preps as far as that goes. So let's talk about the Mylar bags. They are thicker and they're not clear. So not being clear and having that kind of reflective material to it keeps the light out of it. And again, they're thicker, so it takes longer for them to, disintegrate over time. And it does essentially remove all of the air. There is still obviously going to be air left in there. You can only do so much when you're removing it and then putting the oxygen absorber in there. But with the bag and the oxygen absorber, it is removing, more air. And that's why it's better for a longer term storage solution as opposed to only having it for about 1 to 3 years. I wouldn't push, vacuum sealing much beyond 3 years as far as that goes. The downsides to Mylar bags. They don't do well when they're frozen. When you freeze a Mylar bag, for some reason, it ruins the seal, and if you're shoveling them around within the freezer, whether you have a chest freezer or whatever, it does tend to cause holes in it. So essentially the cold temperatures seem to break down the material that the Mylar bags are made out of. But on the positive side, it is more heavy duty, and it can last, the food that's in those can last, 15 to 20 years. So there's goods and there's bads to everything, just like anything else. So I wouldn't recommend one over the other. It just depends on what it is that you're trying to store. So if you're trying to do meat and you want to keep them for like a year plus, then I would do a vacuum seal and freeze it. I would, this is what I plan on doing. I'm going to, probably get a vacuum sealer and freeze up some steaks, burgers, hot dogs, all sorts of different things. And I'm going to only keep them for about a year. So once I start using things, I'll reseal and then I'll have those for another year. That's kind of my idea as far as that goes. And then I'm going to vacuum seal, like I said, some things for like a 1 to 5 year storage, and probably store those in a bucket just to be on the safe side. And then I'll write like on my bucket, 1 to 5 year vacuum sealed, and the date that I sealed the bucket up. And then I have that set aside, and then all the rest of my long-term stuff that I want to keep for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I will have in the Mylar bags. And obviously I won't be able to do meat or anything like that, which once an SHTF situation happens, we're not going to have the refrigeration unless we're able to have a generator that runs our refrigeration for a long period of time. So that's definitely something to look into as well. And as long as you have enough of a fuel source to keep your generator going, those are all different things that we can think about as far as that goes. So that's essentially all I wanted to talk about, was the difference between them and what the uses are for them. And it all, essentially just depends on what you plan on storing with them and how long you plan on storing. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys have any other tips, tricks, or anything as far as Mylar bags versus vacuum sealing. Let me know, how the vacuum sealing has gone for you, if that's something that you do, and how long things have stayed fresh, or if you've noticed any issues, and what vacuum sealer products are better over others, just from testing it out. Because like I said, I do want to get one here in the near future and start doing that as well. So as always, guys, always remember, everything does happen for a reason. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, you're in a good situation or a bad situation, just stick with it. You're on that journey for a reason. Everything's going to be okay. Also, always remember, forget about the past. There isn't anything that we can do about the past other than learn and grow and try to be better people from our past. We need to be living our lives right now, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. We all could not be here tomorrow. So it's important that we're living, loving, and laughing and enjoying our family and our friends right now while we're staying focused on the future. That's all I've got for you guys today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.